Hello and welcome to GG Weekend Watch, our first show back following the 2025 at Cheltenham Festival. Can't believe it was only a week ago. A lot has happened since then. We've had loads to reflect on as well, but we are back looking ahead to the action this weekend because we're heading to Kelso, Bangor and Newbury. My name is Kate Tracey, being joined by Andrew Mann, and Matty Sutcliffe is back because Dave basically can't come back for another show. He needs time to just simmer down following the Cheltenham Festival. But Matty, I've got to ask you, how was your week?
Well, just saying off air, it was like the 2005 Champions League final from an AC Milan fan's perspective, where you start off the first half doing really well. You know, had the new line 25-1, few nice players with happy-go-lucky Colonel Mustard. Then the second half, you absolutely capitulate and you just want it to be over.
Everyone's wondering in the final there, which team are we going to be taking the perspective from? So the Milan side more so for Matty. Andrew, were you more Liverpool or who were you?
Yeah, I was more the 3-3 draw, I think, at full time. And I started well on Tuesday with Django Bay and Maya Town in my columns, who have advised 15-2 and 16-1. But then it was, the wheels came off after that. And my performance in the press tipping competition was plus £1, having a selection in every race over 4 days, which kind of like sums it up, really. So it was a profit, but we couldn't go out for dinner on it unless you want to share a very small bag of chips.
Great success. Still, profit is profit. Do we say that about that? But still, the pair of you two definitely had some good results, some good winners, and each way place as well. So definitely well done for those. And typical tipsters are very harsh upon themselves for the latter stages. But as long as you end up in a profit, we're happy. Hopefully that form can continue into this weekend. Now we're going to kickstart with the first race on Saturday at Kelso, the 1:15 handicap chase, 5 rods and over 3 mile 2. Matty, you're back into the fray, so it only feels right that you should go first.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a bit of a damp squib to start on for a Saturday. Sort of sets the tone for the rest of the card, doesn't it, really? I thought Mr. Incredible was fully in on the second one for Sandy Thompson, the proverbial rogue, who could either win by 5 lengths or refuse to race at the start. So he's readily passed over for me. I thought Pull Again Green is one of those who's maybe vulnerable to an improver. For all I thought the ground might suit. Dare to Shout, well, I think he's quite well handicapped off 1-3-2. He gave Mayertown £10 for a 9-length defeat on his penultimate start. And obviously that one winning the ultimate last time out, now rated £19 higher. His form figures here read third and 3 seconds. And it's the first time he's not had to give weight away for quite a while. So I think Dare to Shout's quite an interesting one. Cadell pulled up last time out, but I would like to chance the stablemate, Your Own Story. It was a bit of a rogue himself. He was disqualified last time out on the Ida, having Patrick Wadd failing to weigh in, which is a schoolboy error, surely still at this stage. But it wasn't disgrace if you think he was only 6 lengths behind the second. The winner's a very impressive 16-length winner for Ryan Potter. And he gets a first-time visor. If that perks him up, then he's back on the last mark, the same mark he was when second at Punchestown in May. He's got a good record in March, 2 wins in the second. His best form comes in smaller fields of 6 or under as well, 2 wins and 4 seconds as well. So I think the first-time visor sparks up improvement for Your Own Story, and he's the one to be on at around 5-1.
Okay, Your Own Story there. Lucinda Russell and Patrick Wadge, who I should say did schoolboy error then for him last time. It did have a good week last week, and first time visor going on him as well. Yeah, Andrew, we've only got the 5 runners to go out in here. Mr. Incredible, as Matty said there, could either win this as he likes or just not bother.
Yeah, I think you've got to leave him alone as well, being Sandy Thompson's record at the moment. He's had a terrible season, and it wasn't great last season either. Used to be a go-to system, back every horse that Sandy Thompson sends out, and you make a profit, particularly in the depths of winter in sort of November to February. But it's not worked for a couple of years now. He does seem to be struggling. I looked at this without looking at any prices, and I'm quite surprised to see Dare to Shout in as short as 6-4, given the run of seconds in his form figure. He's finished runner-up in 6 of his last 8 starts. He's not quite in the Mr. Coffee class of second-diters, but he's not far off. And I think he's probably going to, finish second again, or maybe third. Cadell, I didn't like. The form of his Salt Chase win had not worked out at all. The 2 he beat are absolute slow coaches who've been beat miles in their subsequent starts. So there were 2 runners for me. Pull Again Green. who's only ever won between, well, 5 of his 6 wins have come between March and October. The exception actually came when beating Wonderwall into second at Newbury, the novice hurdle, back in December 2021. Fergal O'Brien does really well with his handicappers at Kelso, 8 wins from 21 runners, profit of £8.50. You'd expect less than 5 winners based on the price of those. And the other one, the one that Matty mentioned, Your Own Story, was a spring horse, and the visor goes on for the first time. That's a positive statistical angle for Lucinda Russell. Go back to the start of 2019, her jumpers in this headgear, 6 from 25. Huge profit of £60.50 to a £1 level stake at SP. So I think it's between Pull Again Green and Your Own Story. And at the odds I'm seeing here, 4-1 and 9-2, you can back the pair of them against the field.
Yeah, definitely. So let's say Puller going green at 4-1 and 9-2, then about Your Own Story. So Matty and Andrew in agreement on that one. Right, we move on to the 135 at Bangor handicap hurdle, 4-year-olds and over 2 mile, 3.5 furlongs. Nusret heading the way in this one at 3-1. But Andrew, at least we do have a few more runners to go out for a brief visit to Bangor.
Yeah, this is an interesting race. I said Ollie Murphy runs 2 in the same colours, Thunder Rock and the 4-6s. Sean Bowen's on the bigger price one, but looks like he wants to take the weight off our old friend Thunder Rock, with Lewis Saunders claiming 7. We know Thunder Rock likes small fields. We know he doesn't really, he's not the greatest jumper over fences. So, and although his, on the face of it, his hurdle run last time out when at Haydock looks pretty modest, 4th of 6, beating 22 lengths in the Rendlesham. That Haydock meeting on the 15th of February was I said bizarre. It's quite typical of Haydock sometimes. If you weren't anywhere near the front, you didn't have a prayer. And so many horses were beaten out of sight under patient tactics, have come out and run well since. So the fact that he was beaten 22 lengths under a patient ride, I wouldn't read too much into that. So dropping in grade, coming back into handicap hurdle company, I think Thunder Rock's going to go well. The other one I like is Gentleman Bill, probably around about 7-1, I think, the last I saw. Now, he really took the eye when running at Catterick behind Jarive de May, Willie Mullins' runner. That was this 5-1 favourite that day, and raced wide, not through any sort of skill from Patrick Mullins digging out the better ground. It was a case of the horse jumped out to his right, so he ended up on the better ground by accident. Gentleman Bill, on the other hand, raced in the swamp on the inside rail throughout. It was clearly much slower on the inside, but say never left that under Henry Brook. Next time out, he's gone to Kelso and the Moor Battle hurdle, finished in mid-division. He was at 28-1 shot and never got involved in the race. I mean, that was typical Moor Battle. If you weren't a course winner, you didn't have a prayer. I think 5 of the first 6 home that day were Kelso course winners. And with Gentleman Bill never having run there, I'd forgive him that. This looks a lot easier than the Moor Battle. So yeah, Gentleman Bill and Thunder Rock, 2 I like. If you pin me down to just one, I'll go Gentleman Bill. He's a course winner, and he's the bigger price of the pair.
Yes, 7-1 about Gentleman Bill. Interesting with the Greenhorn Guerriero yard having the couple in here, but Henry Brook, the stable jockey, being on Gentleman Bill. It's about the same price as on Public, to be fair, but Toby Wynn taking the ride on him. I thought you were going to say Kate for a second there when you were talking about Catterick. I thought it was on the tip of your tongue, but not to be this time around.
Yeah, bad luck if you got that on your bingo card.
I know, exactly. That was it. I so thought you were going to go for it. That one time I had a good day there. Matty, who do you like in this race at Bangor?
Yeah, as Andrew said, it's an interesting little contest. Several of the ones who I did like originally, I think they would want softer ground, particularly Mildam for Snowden and Gavin Shea. Snowden got a great record at the track. Nusret's an interesting one. Somewhat of unknown qualities. Last seen in the Galway Hurdle in August. As a high-class juvenile, winning the Adonis, placing in the anniversary at Aintree, and it was on 8 lengths behind Lossiemouth in the Champions 4-year-old hurdle at Punchestown. So on that form alone, you'd chance him, but he's struggled in open company since. And I had a look early. He's still actually an entire. It's not that he's not been gelded. He's bought for $300,000. So I presume that he's going to be prepped for a flat campaign for Nicky Anderson. Does it by the likes of the horse with no name, and won that race at Ascot for you a couple of seasons ago. So I would like to take him on at the top of the market. 2 of the last winners, or the last winner of this race, came off the back of a win at Wetherby in Class 3 company over 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs. So I just thought I'd give a chance to 12-year-old West of the Bridge. It was a bit competitive enough field last time over those conditions. and already has course and distance form this season. Went a 2 lengths third to Mai Tai with Aston Martini in the second, who of course is now rated £9 higher after finishing second to Altabelli, and has won since. He's effectively £3 lower with £7 claimed off Harry Atkins, and again, like the one, his 4 from 10. He's 4 of his 10 wins over hurdles have come in March. So I just thought that he's backed up a one before. I know he's kicking on now, but with not many positives about the rest, I thought he's worth a snip at a decent price.
8-1 that I can see it. Yeah, for the 12-year-old now, west of the bridge, a winner last time out though as well. But yeah, Newbury, it feels like he's been around forever, hasn't it? And he's only a 6-year-old. But like I say, when he was a high-class juvenile though, and still to be kept an entire has been an interesting move then for connections. Right, we switch back to Kelso now for the 150. Listed mares hurdle, 5-year-olds and over 3 mile, 1.5 furlongs. Wyenot is a short price favourite at 10 to 11 in here, Matty, but she is setting the standard and then some on official rating. So can you get a beat or not?
Yeah, look, I love Wyenot. I backed her at Cheltenham early in the season and at Doncaster when I was there as well to knock me out of a hole that day. But Ottazina was in behind her, and the pair do like to go forward. And you've got Saka Corin here, the mare who just loves to shoot off and do her own thing in front. So the pace of the race is what I'm most concerned about for Wyenot. I think there's 3 that are definitely going to go forward, 2 that are going to chase her. There's 1 going to go off very hard, and there's only one way this race can surely unfold, and that's La Vida Adiva to come from off the pace and capitalise later on. I mean, Gail Marler, she must be over the top by now after her summer or spring campaign, and the other runner, My Lady Electra, has no chance in the ratings. And I just thought I know that La Diva Vida, she has to improve on that run last time out at Air. She was hampered. She stayed on well. Obviously, she could definitely got to improve to beat Wyenot, but she might not have to improve all that much on the penultimate run at Market Raisin. She gave £8 away to Miss Cynthia for a half a length defeat. It was only beaten just touched off Enlisted Company itself next time out. So I think on that form alone, she's not got a lot to find with Wyenot. And if the race does pan out how I hope it'll pan out, I think she'll come well off the pace with a champion at Cheltenham winning jockey Brian Hughes on board.
Ah, okay, nice price as well to boot. Likewise, so yeah, and as you say, Cheltenham Festival winning jockey as well, which was great to see, and a deserved success as well for Brian Hughes. Andrew, we're going to the mares for you.
Yeah, tricky one, this one. The obvious one is Wyenot. So she's got a fantastic record on the back of a defeat, 4 wins from 4 starts. Whereas immediately following a win, she's won just once from 5. So she's dropping in grade back to listed level after finishing 3rd in that grade. 2 contests at Doncaster last time out. Does she have to lead, or can she? Is she going to be happy taking a lead? I think she doesn't have to make it. I know she has done on sort of several occasions, but I think I think that record following a defeat is persuasive for me, despite the presence of other pace angles. I certainly wouldn't want to bother with the likes of Ottazini, who seem to be finding winning difficult and has already finished behind Wyenot. So I like the case Matty's made for La Vida Adiva. Maybe that's the one for the forecast, but I'll stick with Wyenot.
Yeah, stick with Wyenot, but potentially for the forecast, a 10-1 shot, La Vida Adiva, who Matty likes. Right, the 205 at Newbury now. This is a novices handicap hurdle, 0 to 130 contest, 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 3. Now we have 9 to 2 the field in this one, so a bit more of a betting heat for you to go at, Andrew.
This is a horrible race, more Wednesday at Sedgefield than Saturday at Newbury, but that's where we are at this time. But that sort of quiet period, no man's land between Cheltenham and Aintree. But there is quite an interesting bet here at a big price, which is Kalium for Tim Vaughan. Now, Kalium rocked up at Carlisle last month when bidding for a hat-trick. Carlisle hurdles course, it's been very difficult to win from the front on occasions because the inside's so badly cut up that all the prominent races tend to race towards the inner. If you're ridden patiently, it's a big advantage. So you look at that race. I've just got the replay up here. Golden Maverick, the Jamie Snowden train winner, was widest of all and was like bang last for most of the race. Whereas those who race up with the pace and anywhere near the inside struggled. Now, the runner-up, Hurrah, was described as prominent, led before 2 out. That one came out and won next time out. The third, There Is No Doubt, trained by Lucinda Russell, beaten almost 10 lengths, led, headed before 2 out. He came out and won next time out. And even the fourth, who was like in touch with leaders, Russian Virtue, a 40 to 1 shot, trained by David Thompson ran a respectable 10 to 1/3 at Sedgefield next time, and actually runs at Sedgefield again today on the day of recording in the 4:53. That's Thursday. Kalium was fifth, never left the inside, was fifth, 13 to 8 favourite that day. Didn't get home after racing in the swamp on the inside. Better ground, flatter track. I think Kalium could run a big race in.
Okay, good case made as well, especially with that collateral form as well that you talk about coming out subsequently. So nice price to boot at a big price as well, 25 to 1. Matty, beat that.
Yeah, as Andrew said, it's not the most inspiring of contests. It's a crappy one. We've only had 4 renewals of the race.
Did you say crappy or trappy, Matthew?
I'll leave that for the viewers to decide. We'll try to keep an apple clean rating. 3 of the 4 winners of the contest were all since its inception are all tongue-tied, and that includes the inaugural winner, Good Ball for Paul Nicholls on his handicap debut. So there might be an angle there with Jackpot the Board, who has been given time off since he was beaten a 4-6 favourite under a penalty at Taunton, around the time when Nicholls' weren't really firing. Travelled well into that race, just seems something amiss in the finish, like many of his around that time. But if you go back to his the penultimate effort, it was a very cosy winner, and even getting headed on the running by St Anna Paulina, who of course he's rated 130 now after 3 subsequent victories. So I just think he's well handicapped on that form. Nicholls has won the race with a similar type before. He's got some good bumper form with Celtic Dino. Leave a break and the cheek pieces sharpen him up. I think Jackpot the Board will go quite well. Nicholls is profitable to follow in Newbury handicaps as well, with an £18.40 profit margin to £1 stake in the last 5 seasons, and just seems to be found a bit more now.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Like I say, it was pretty dire at the start of the season, but finding it now. But 16 to 1 as well about Jackpot the Board in here for Matty. So nice prices to go out in that 205 at Newbury. Right, the 225 at Kelso. Series final handicap hurdle, 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 5. But we're talking about the caliber of this weekend's racing. Our top rating here is 126 in South Sada, but the rest of these sort of muddling around under the 120 rating bandwidth, Matty. So again, not an easy one for you to go at.
Yeah, I mean, I must have blinked twice when at this car when it was on a Saturday. Must have got the weeks mixed up. I thought the interesting one was I Am Max, not to be confused with I Am Maximus.
Definitely not confused with him,
completely different kettle of fish. It's almost an impossible race to work out. But 6 last time out winners all come from different form lines. But the last 2 winners of the race were both second in the qualifiers, so that does bring in Saver and I Am Max into contention. The latter is the least exposed in his field. His hurdles record reached a third, and 2 seconds. His only power effort came when it came on fences this season. And he bumped into a progressive JP McManus horse when just denied it here last time out, pulling 8 lengths clear from another JP McManus horse. It was second here on his penultimate outing, looking like the most likely winner. Just came to the last, just wandered around. And the winner of that race was Adiva, who actually ticked up in the per temps. I thought he had a great chance. He wasn't disgraced in midfield either. He was a 2-time course winner at Kelso, so I think he's bumped into a couple of decent times in his recent outings. And off a mark of 118, I think he can go on to be better.
I Am Max minus the must then at 5 to 1 for Matty. Andrew, who do you like in this Saturday contest? Saturday prime time contest.
It's more a case that I don't like. When you're looking at the trends of this race, I mean, we can't really, because there's only been 2 renewals at this meeting in March. The other one, last year's renewal, was 2 runnings, I shouldn't say, because the first one wasn't a renewal, if it's the first one. But this was run in April last year at this meeting, so there is another one in there as well. So, but yeah, last time out winners do, from that extremely small sample size, last time out winners seem to have struggled, and the 3 previous winners have all shown winning form in the spring before. So what we tend to get here is a lot of horses have been winning in the mud in January, February, and probably going off the boil. I thought that might be include the front 2 in the betting. I Am Max, who seems to be a real mudlark, really struggling to back anything Sandy Thompson sends out at the moment. That he's gone 2 months without a winner and 20. I think it's 2 months without a win, or a month and 20. Hang on a second. Okay, 61 days and 29 runners since his last winner. He's had a shocking season, and although those who've been supported have tended to run their races, I'm still very sort of loath to give too much credence to some of his horses. Ballyfort is definitely the one to take on. Who it says it was officially soft ground at Haydock last time. It was hock deep mud. Sorry, Haydock at Ayr last time. And although I always like Fame and Glories who win before the age of 8, the time when they tend to improve. This one's a 7-year-old. Second run after a wind operation. I do think that he's short enough, given that it was a Mickey Mouse race last time, running hock deep mud. Ashington was the last time out winner. I'd give him a chance, given Mark Walford's. Once Mark Walford's have had like sort of 2 or 3 runs within the last few months, they tend to run really well, and he was a qualifier of that system last time out. Foster's Fortune you can dismiss as a Sedgefield expert, but then you look at his one run here, he did run pretty well, so I wouldn't totally dismiss him. But the one I was going to come on down on the side of was Starlyte for Lucinda Russell, based on that 5th at Musselburgh last time out. We're behind all the glory when it was ridden patiently on a track where it tends to sort of help to be up with the pace. And I thought he could run a good race. She could run a good race, I should say, but it wasn't a race I was usually keen on. Singapore Trip I did look at as well. Brian News for Mickey Hammond in handicaps when they finished in the top 4 or 5 last time out. It's been a positive angle over the course of Mickey Hammond's career, so don't totally dismiss that one. But yeah, I'll go sort of Starlight Singapore Trip, but it's no more than the price of a lottery ticket, kids.
Boom! There she is. 20-1 about the pair of those two there, Singapore Trip and Starlight, also 20-1, all aboard the Lucinda Russell Patrick Wadge bandwagon there for that course and distance winner.
Go on the
right,
Go
on, yeah. The 240 now at Newbury, handicap chase, 0 to 145 contest, 5 rods and over 2 mile 4. Now 4 to on the field. Bob Ricard is heading the way. St. Segal in there as he always is. Prominent enough in the betting. Can you trust him to get the job done or not? Andrew, how are you playing it?
Yeah, tricky one. We should mention the weather as well. We haven't talked about the going at Kelso, not Haydock, which is, I think, is good to soft, good in places, or vice versa. If you look at the Norwegian weather forecast, it said there could be about 12 or 13 mil of rain. You look at like XC weather, it's saying sort of 2 or 3 mil. And they're watering, of course, as well. So we saw last week that on ground described as good to soft, you topped the water to achieve soft ground, apparently. And it was actually, they did that on the hurdles course, and on the chase course, it was heavy. So there was a lot of people who were sort of left out of pocket backing horses who were sort of better on good and good to soft ground. Again, so that's what you're looking at with Son Segal here, who tends to need it pretty deep. He's been running well all season, but he doesn't win that often. It's obviously about 1 win from his last sort of 12 or 13 starts now, and 9 to 2. I can leave him alone at that price. Theatre Man was the one I was looking at first, run after a wind up, trained by Richard Bandy. And again, I think the ground was possibly a bit soft for him last time out. But again, Scarface always seems to attract support but doesn't deliver, so I wasn't particularly keen on him. And it's funny, we talked about, I think Matty was talking about Paul Nicholls with first time cheek pieces earlier on being a positive angle. It's also a positive angle with Dan Skelton, a protege of Paul Nicholls. It's also a profitable angle with Harry Derham as well. So the cheek pieces going on Imagine for the first time I thought was potentially interesting. Getting horses from trainers like Gordon Elliott, Willie Mullins, Henry de Bromhead and Gavin Cromwell is completely daft. If you look at how they get on their first start for new yards, they run abysmally. There's various theories as to why that might be. I won't mention Magic Carrots because that could be libelous. And we know how well Harry Derham does at the first time of asking with horses he takes over from other yards. Now this one, first run for the yard, I think I put him up as a bet. This was at Cheltenham back in November of the Paddy Power Gold Cup. It's gone off 6 to 1, pulled up behind Il Ridotto. Then he's gone on run against Mr. Bangor in the mud at Haydock, 3 miles, 1.5. Weekend, finished 5th, beaten 17 lengths. And then last time out, money come for him again. He's a 130 shot. He's finished 3rd, beaten 36 lengths at Kelso. So better ground, and the headgear, he's got a tongue tie and cheek pieces on. For the first time, I thought I'd give him one more chance at a double figure price. Imagine, but yeah, it's not a race I was usually keen on because there's a lot of imponderables about the going. They're going to be watering on good to soft ground. All it takes is a bit of rain, and we're in a mud bath again.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, it's so tricky to know what the going is going to be. But imagine, and that was me thinking you were just going to mention the Caldwell construction curse as the only reason why these horses have not gone and improved, and imagine as being one of those notably so. But now at 10-1 with that first time headgear combination could be interesting. Matty, who do you like?
Look, most people who know me know I am a massive Segal cliff follower, and I've tried so hard not to do it again. I failed last week. I failed last time we ran, and I'm going to fail again. And the only reason being is I look in the field and I think, what can actually win this race? Like, I'm 99% sure that Scarface has been plotted back for the Sussex Champion Chase all season, and I'm surprised that they're running. I'm surprised that they're going to run with it next week. I think it is, or maybe the week after. Black Jerry is also similar respect. He was second in that race last season, I think. Andrew's made a good case. Imagine, 320,000 euros from the Caldwell construction sale. He's going to want to be winning this kind of grand race at Newbury to get some of that back. Newbury's on a mark of 138. He's yet to win above a mark of 131 outside the Veterans Company. I know he's only a few pounds higher than when he won a Veterans Company a couple of starts ago. Theatre Man, not too keen on him. He's still a novice. Just doesn't seem to want to win the yard. Just 3 from 68 this season. He's on a good mark, I suppose, with the Johnny Destiny's form from last season. And I just kept on coming back to Saint Segal. Because I don't think there's any that are really well handicapped in this race. And I don't think he's particularly well handicapped either. But on the plus side, he's run so well this season. Like he's settled better than what he has done. I don't particularly think he does need good ground, soft ground. I think he would have beaten Boot Hill a few seasons, 3 years ago or 2 years ago in that burn chase at Ascot on good ground. I'm not too concerned in that respect. And it was an eye catcher when he stepped up to 2 mile 4 at Newbury behind Le Patron. We'll get the Le Patron mentioned in there for a couple of years ago. It was an eye catcher behind that one because it was messed around at the start, just missed it. Which is somewhat of a topical issue this week. And then he stepped up again to Newbury and he just absolutely ran away with the race. Settled better in front, beat Bo Balco by 11 lengths. And then he was second to the Kaluki Kid at Musselburgh in the Scottish Champion Chase. I thought that was a great bit of form. I think the Kaluki Kid is a very progressive type, now gone up in trip. And then he was again third in the Greatwood to Booster Bob, who came from out of the clouds on the Sean Bowen. Made most of the running, just got coddled late on. 2 of the last 5 winners of this contest have come from the Greatwood. I just think, I know he's a bit of a rogue. He doesn't win that often. But rather ironic, I think he's the most rock-solid horse in the contest. And I'm going to stick with it for one last time.
What one last time? I'm sure it won't be, but best of luck to you all say. But Mr. Mount, you are holding up your hand very politely there.
Just one other I forgot to mention. Dan Skelton's won this for the last 2 years with Cheltenham. He did have Cheltenham declared at the 5-day stage. Taking that one out, they rely on 2, including Risk on the Ground, who tends to be a spring, early summer horse. I think all his wins have come from March to September. And he was disappointing at Huntingdon last time earlier this month, but he was at 22 to 1 shot in a 6-runner race. So I think maybe we'll see a bit more from him, and he's the mount of Harry Skelton bidding to win that silly David Power Jockey Cup.
Does anyone really care about it apart from the people who are involved genuinely?
Only the people involved in winning the prize money or getting paid to promote it. See also the Racing League. No offense.
Well, I was on that payroll for a while, so I'm not going to comment. But yeah, anyway, that's a whole other subject for us that we could be getting in on. But anyway, money in racing is always a good thing. We're not saying that by any means in any sort of new ventures, but does anyone really follow it and care that much? Anyway, though, Harry Skelton, best of luck to you. Risk in the ground 9 to 1, and Dan Skelton's other runner, Real Stone, 25 to 1 as the outsider of the field. Right, we're back to Kelso, and we've got more mares as well. Series final mares novices handicap hurdle, 4-year-olds and over. This time over 2 miles, so faster mares this time. Andrew, then, but no, actually, Matty, it's your turn to go first. Back to you, please.
Yeah, well, it's not a race I'm particularly interested in, but I thought if Tora Ovalie came out of the mares novice race quite fine. I know it's only 9 days ago. I thought she could be a massive contender in here. Wasn't entirely disgraced in the midfield in the mares novice. Not really put into the race, but still ran quite well, I thought. I know she got to back it up, but I mean, off a mark of 120, Isabel Williams claiming 3. I think she's very well. I think she's chucked in. She was fifth. She was ran a good race in that very strong handicap at Windsor from £6 out of the weights. Finished a length behind Hansard. It was then only beaten 4 lengths himself by the subsequent champion, Hurdle with a Golden Ace. She was in front of the More Battle winner, Kraken Rhapsody there as well. And she won next amount herself. I just thought that if, again, as she comes out of this race, I mean, she beat Break My Soul a few starts ago. He was then second in the Red Mill Trail for New Connections at Galway. So, look, I mean, it's a big ask to come back from that race just 9 days later. But it's not a deep contest by any means. And if she can bounce back, I think she's got a great chance.
Yeah, good case made as well. Like I say, 9-day turnaround is a big ask for me. I mean, she's a 6-year-old, admittedly, so maybe she has just got that bit more maturity to her to be able to cope with a quick turnaround and could well be chucked in, says Matty, off that mark. Mr. Mount.
Yeah, interesting that those in the top 3 in the weights have won all 3 previous runnings of this contest. Last year, they finished 1, 2, 3, 9 to 2, 7 to 1, and 16 to 1. 2 years ago, 6 to 4 winner and 28 to 1 third, and 3 years ago, an 85 to 40 winner and a 13 to 2 third. So Rula Bula falls into that category for the Neil Yard. Benjamin Macy claiming 7. Now you look at his last run, you think her last run, you think, well, she got beaten 17 lengths into second at Lingfield in what was effectively a match. But that was typical Lingfield hurdles. If you're on the inside, you didn't have a prayer. And it was taken straight to the inside, and the winner was pulled off to sort of come wide on the better ground. So I would give that one a big upgrade. Surrey Bell's the other one to be interested in on that angle. She's the shortest of the 3, and my God, if I hear somebody else going about bloody Golden Horn in the last week, and she's like Golden Horn, so they're just going to be blithering on about that on ITV Racing if she should win this. But the other interesting one, of course, is Ovalie, Ovalie, whatever you call it. Evan Williams. I actually put her up as a bet in my column at Cheltenham last week, and she was 100 to 1 SP and about 280 on the exchanges for the Dawn Run. Now she's run all right, actually. She's finished 9th of the 23 runners. You don't get paid for 9th. I think we're on the first 5 each way or something like that. It's probably a little bit too close to the early place too soon, I thought, but still just like outclassed. But that was a fair old effort, and she looked very progressive up until then. So back in calmer waters. There's one for the bingo card. I thought Tor Ovalie each way might be the one, but yeah, Rula Bula and Surrey Bell, the 3 of them, I'll just be trying to sort of get the combination trifecta and exacta out of that trio.
Yeah, the first 3 then in the race card in the handicap there as well to be going at for Andrew, but both of the lads are in agreement on Tor Ovalie at 10 to 1 being a good price to go at as well. Right, now we switch back down to Newbury, and it's more mares again for the 3:15. This time National Hunt Mares Novices Hurdle Grade 2 limited handicap series final, 4-year-olds and over 2 miles, 4.5 furlongs. So Andrew, we've had the staying mares, we've had the speedy mares. These are the middle distance mares on Saturday.
Yeah, I did have some stats for this race, which I can't dig out at the moment, based on those with the recent run and tend to have done well. Those were blown out the water last year when All for Glory run it. This is a sort of bizarre race because it's a National Hunt Mares Novice Hurdle Limited Handicap Grade 2. It's like they've just randomly picked out all the classifications and just thrown them all in. It's probably a hunter
like a Scrabble game, just go for it all.
And but yeah, the Fergal O'Brien horse, whose name I did get right when I mentioned her in the GG.CO.UK preview, but I've completely forgotten since. I think it's Segal. This is number 6, Seog, if you want to look at it like that. But I think
phonetically say it.
And she tends to come from off the pace, and that second to Bluey wasn't a bad effort last time out. It's the way they got first run. So I thought a bigger field, stronger pace, and given the form of the yard, that she could be the one. So he comes here off a break of 32 days. Ground-wise, she's by Molinas, who's you back them over 2.5 miles or further on soft or heavy ground, you make an absolute fortune. But she has got winning form on good ground, so I think she'll do okay whatever the conditions are. But yeah, number 6, Segal.
Yeah, that's what I was going with. I had it in my head that it was Segal, as well. 5 to 1 then. Number 6, Johnny Burke and Fergal O'Brien for Andrew. Matty.
Yeah, I thought Rockstown Girl was quite an interesting contender here. I think she's not from 6 going right-handed over hurdles, but she's 2 from 3 going left-handed. And the only loss came when falling in the Grade 2 high novices at Cheltenham behind Potter's Charm and Valgrand. And she was actually still going quite well in that contest. By no means disgrace with falling 4 out. So I just thought like returning this way around might be the angle for her. She beat Dame of the Cotswolds at Chepstow earlier this season, quite comfortably. And she, after travelling so well in front, got the last 2 wrong. Would have won by distance had she not. Dame of the Cotswolds now rated 125. So I just thought that coming back this way around off a mark of 121, Oakley Brown taking 5 off. I thought in quite a trappy renewal, Roxdown Girl for the Irish.
Well, the Irish there for Anthony McCann coming over at 9-1 as well. Roxtown Girl. Right, the final scheduled race on the ITV televised running order is for 3:35 at Kelso. Handicap chase, 0-120 contest, 5 rods and over 2 mile 1. We have a horse who's rated 99, who is currently favourite for this one at 11-4 Massey. So yeah, the Saturdays we can't have a Cheltenham Festival every week, but yeah, it's probably right that we round off with a horse that is rated 99 as favourite in this one.
I think there's a meeting of the Cheltenham Board of Directors at the moment who want to have a Cheltenham Festival every week. They're currently discussing it.
Exactly. We won't give them any more ideas. Maybe this is the whole plan, the whole master plan overall. But we're conspiracy theorists. Ignore us, Matty.
Yeah, well, he might be rated 99, but he still would have gotten the county hurdle last week, wouldn't he?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, I actually thought like just the nature of this contest. It'd be no surprise if GG.CO.UK does win it again. He won the race last season off a pound higher.
Was it 2 years ago, mate? Was that 2023?
24 it was. I think it was.
I've got him down as winning it in 2023, but I haven't got.
He won in 2023 as well. I think that might have been different.
Yeah, was this the meeting that? This is the meeting that was in April last year, I think, wasn't
it? Yes,
he
beat Bollinger and Krug actually, who returns here. GG.CO.UK, he's gone completely off the boil, whether that's by design or just ages catching up with him. He's pulled up 3 times since. He's mounted in the chute. He's almost refused to race. But you do see it time and time again with these old boys who are still kept in training. There must be a reason why, even though they look like they're not quite liking it. And it might just be to try and win this race again. I just thought that for the around 25-1 you can get, I thought it might be worth it. It might be worth in each way pop.
Yeah, nice price as well. Then as the outsider of the field and a grand old age. We've got a few old boys in this one, 12, 10, 11, 10, 9. Our favourite is the youngest horse in the race by a few years, Andrew. We're Flash to Pistolate at the age of 7.
I see what they've done. They've changed the conditions of the race from 0 to 110 to 0 to 120. So you look at the previous winners lists on the Racing Post, it's got it down to a completely different race, so it won't actually pop up. But yeah, Duty Calls. He's won a fortnight either side of mid-March in the last 3 years. I thought the ground might be plenty quick enough for him, but it's 16-1. You've got to have him on your radar. The other sort of semi-interesting one was Escape and Evade, who's 2 from 11 in Class 3 company or higher, 3 from 6 in Class 4 races, and James Hewitt's going well at the moment. So I'll go for Escape and Evade over Duty Calls. But it's Bollinger and Krug. I used to really like it, Kelso, and sort of a bit like Elvis Mayo was a horse you could back blind here, but he does tend to get behind in his races nowadays. Seems to have fallen a little bit out of love with the game at the age of 10. So although he plodded on here last time, he's just won on this sort of swerve list with the Mount double squiggle at the moment. I invented that before time film. Although I think I just wrote the word dog bite or something like that. So yeah, just beware of Bollinger and Krug at the moment. He might be a sort of like later back horse, because if he does blow the start again, you can sort of. Yeah, what is he now? You can sort of 7-2. You can sort of lay 4-1, probably back at 8-1 after a couple of fences. But yeah, Duty Calls, Escape and Evade for me.
Escape and Evade, Duty Calls, and the agreement there. But the Mr. Mount double squiggle, for about Bollinger and Krug, then potentially avoid what we always associated as his track as well. So yeah, just needs a bit of revitalisation, doesn't he? Right, lads, loads of races that we've just gone at there. But Andrew, I'll go back to you, please. Anything from anywhere else?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Matty?
No, it was tricky enough to get through the 9 races on the ITV card, let alone the rest.
I know, to be fair, we've been given plenty enough races, if not quite the calibre of races we may have hoped. But as I say, we can't have grade ones every single day, can we? Matty, back to you, please. Nap.
My nap, I will go with Roxdown Girl in the 3:15 Newbury.
Nice one. Okay, Andrew, your nap, please.
Take the day off and go to a garden centre. No, I'm going to go for a big price. Well, I'll go for Kalium in the 205 at Newbury. Given that he's won 2 of his last 3 and the form of his last race worked out really well with excuses for his defeat, I think he could be the value on the card.
And a big price as well. I mean, of a weekend like this, you may as well go for a decent price horse as well. Right,
Or you may as well go to a garden centre.
Oh, I love a garden centre. They always do the best brunches, best breakfast ever in a garden centre. I can't remember the last time I've been, but yeah, there's a good recommendation. I didn't think we'd be giving out on this week's show, but such is the hangover for Cheltenham Festival that this is where we're at, Mr. Mount.
I can give you a good list of garden centres and farm shops near to racecourses or near to the motorway where you can sort of nip off and have some decent food rather than pay through the nose for a load of rubbish.
Next column pending. I will definitely be staying tuned for that one, so I expect that to be written up in about the next week. But lads, as I say, thank you so much to both of you for all of your hard work. Dave, we hope that you have had a nice rest, and if you're tuning in, then we'll hope to speak to you again soon. Best of luck with your bets this weekend, and we'll be back at the same time again next week.